Yeah.
I've enjoyed every minute of it. Temple of Triumph is how we're going to close things out. That'll start game number 3 here between Garcia and Repp.
And if there's any matchup in the format where you would want Raise the Alarm in your burn list, it would be right here.
Yep. I'm inclined to agree with you. It's a Thoughtseize from Repp. And we will see a grip here. It looks like at least one Stoke, maybe 2. Yeah, it looks like maybe there's a Phoenix. Okay, so Stoke the Flames, the Phoenix. Hey, Boros Charm and a couple of lands. Battlefield Forge, a Sacred Foundry, and a Mutavault.
So this is a common play that I see that I dislike out of burn players.
Okay.
Against Mono Black Devotion, I think with this kind of opening hand, you're supposed to lead with your Mutavault. You're almost certainly going to be able to attack with it on the second turn unless you're playing around Ulcerate or something like that. You don't mind if you get to take some damage yourself setting up your lands in such a way. And I would have tried to go Mutavault on 1, play Battlefield Forge, attack you on 2, Sacred Foundry, Phoenix on 3, and then play the Temple somewhere else down the line. But you can't give up points of damage against Mono Black Devotion. You got to get in when you can get in, and attacking with a Mutavault on the play is a very safe play.
Also, you know, with the Temple in turn 1, you're not entirely sure what you're looking for.
Yeah, does that hand want... he can be pretty safely assured that he doesn't want lands at that point, but you are right. Is, say, Lightning Strike a card that you want? That really depends on if Peter plays something like Nightveil Spectre. You don't know if that's something you want to top or bottom just yet.
Garcia's draw for the turn, I believe, was a copy of War Leader's Helix. But this is the turn to deploy the Phoenix, as he does get on to 18 via Sacred Foundry. And there is the Phoenix. And for 2, I don't think so. Bioblight's going to kill that very quickly. Repp will draw a card here. You saw Nightveil Spectre in his hand. There's Swamp. So if you'd like to go down that route, he certainly can.
And the tempo of this game is not shaping up well for Adam thus far.
This is not how he wants it to go. He's dealt no damage himself.
Peter at 18 right now, about to cast a Nightveil Spectre.
That, of course, blocks the road of Phoenix for the rest of the game.
On top
it is
of
killed.
All the other creatures that Adam can produce.
Yeah. Mutavault currently stopped cold as well. It's a Battlefield Forge. And all Garcia can do is pass the turn back, so Repp will draw. See, there's a Duress in his hand, picked up a copy of Desecration Demon. We know how good Desecration Demon is on empty board. It is no fun for Burn to try to beat. Take a look at the trigger here. That's a mountain.
And I think Peter was without a land drop there.
I think you're right.
That was a huge Nightveil Spectre hit right there. Adam electing not to kill it with the Stoke the Flames in hand. I assume he wants to rebuy the Phoenix, but now all sorts of trouble.
There's 4 damage going upstairs. Repp's going to go down to 14. Phoenix is going to come back to the grip. Well, we know who wins this race. It's the guy with the Desecration Demon. Garcia's going to have to get moving and get moving fast. Looks like he does have a copy of Chain of the Rocks in his hand. So that's mighty important. Temple of Triumph will allow Adam to scry.
It's still, you know, the Nightveil Spectre is a huge problem here now for 2 reasons. One is, even if Adam gets rid of this Desecration Demon, Peter can just hold the Nightveil Spectre back on defense and block the Phoenix if he ever gets to that point. The second issue is now that Peter has found red mana, there's so many just awesome cards that can come off the top of Adam's deck. Things like Lightning Strike, Skull Crack, Shock.
Any card you get to cast is a good one.
Yeah.
Repp will draw a card. It's a copy of Mutavault. Arguably the best card in Standard has shown up in Repp's hand. That'll give him the 5th land for the Grey Merchant in his hand if he does want to cast it this turn. He'll start by attacking for 2, however. Tie game here. Sacred Foundry comes off the top.
It's kind of a tie.
A touch annoying. You know, the white mana, if he you know, peels off a War Leader's Helix, gets a little ugly in here.
Boros Charm as well.
Yeah.
Raise the Alarm.
Absolutely. Now you're talking my language. See the Duress. The Duress, I imagine, is there to clear the path for the Grey Merchant.
Well, at this point, now, Peter has the decision about whether or not he wants to Duress here. He could have played the Mutavault in his hand. wants to get the Sacred Foundry to deploy while his Night Veil Spectre is still alive. Could have chosen to duress there, but he has the ability to do this all next turn. He can duress and then Grey Merchant.
Yeah,
so
I like that play a lot.
I do too. I get the other Night Veil in play, especially now that you have 2 red sources of mana and a white source of mana. The top of Adam's deck can be really juicy.
Don't forget too. You know, you duress there, you clear the way for the Grey Merchant. You've got 8 devotion. You gain 8 life. It's over.
Yeah. The only card you really have to be worried about here is the Skullcrack, and even then, you know, you are winning the damage race as things are currently constructed. Even if you don't get any life, you're probably fine.
It's a drain for 8.
Yeah.
Can't forget about that. Two mana, make it 3. It's Phoenix territory. Looks like it is. Be surprised to see that thing attack this turn. That's just going to pass the turn back. Repp will untap and take a draw here. He's going to quickly fire off a duress.
First order of business. See what's going on.
Perhaps crack ya? Garcia has one. Now's the time. And I don't think that Peter Repp could take that Skullcrack fast enough.
Yeah, he didn't even, I mean, he barely even looked at the rest of Adam's hand.
None of your cards matter besides your Skullcrack. Take that. Play a land, be a Mutavault or a Swamp. Deploy that Grey Merchant.
Yeah, he wants to do it now that he's seen that Searing Blood in Adam's hand. You don't want him to block with a Phoenix and then finish off one of your Night Veil Specters.
Yeah. The getting's good. Repp actually going to cast a duress. A little surprised to see that play this turn.
Well, I don't think that I mind this very much. He can take the Searing Blood and attack, and he's likely to find something else off of Adam's deck to do this turn because he has a Mountain and a Sacred Foundry left over. I mean, I agree with you. It's pretty attractive to get the Grey Merchant up and running right now, but there isn't really any particular rush because he just has access to this attack as well.
Yeah. There's a trigger from the Night Veil. Chain of the Rocks. That's on.
And now if the Phoenix comes back, well, now you have an answer.
Yeah. There's a Mutavault, kick it back. Here is a Searing Blood. So there goes that, and the Phoenix will come back as well. But Repp is clearly okay with these exchanges if he was willing to make them.
Yeah. The issue here with not casting the Grey Merchant right now on the turn that we just had is now if Adam draws Skullcrack, it gets a little hairy, right?
Yeah, it's certainly an annoyance, I think, if that does happen.
Because you're not presenting lethal yourself, even with the Grey Merchant drain.
Your drain is smaller.
There's an argument for casting the Grey Merchant that turn just because you know the coast is clear, and that's not a guarantee the next turn.
I think a world exists where you just play the Grey Merchant, you don't even attack.
Yeah, you can say go.
Yeah. There's a Phoenix. It's an activation of Mutavault.
Well, now Peter knows the coast is clear.
Yeah. He'll take 4. Go down to 7. But he's going to be going back above that unless we draw something different for the turn. Looks like Mutavaults are going to trade here.
I like a block here. Just don't let anything stupid happen.
Yeah, no nonsense. Take a draw. There's an attack for 2 very quickly. Trigger from Repp. A lightning strike.
Yeah, it's understated, I think. But Night Veil Spectre is really good against burn because it does not take, first of all, 2 3s are good against burn. And secondly, once you have red mana, every Night Veil Spectre hit is just, this is really hard to beat.
Yeah. It's an absolute disaster. See Chain of the Rocks play a role in the game. A lightning strike can finish things off. But more importantly, Grey Merchant has resolved. Repp is at 14, Garcia is at 4, and he's left with just 2 cards in his hand. He's basically out of ammo. Spectre great in this matchup. So very good.
I feel like the difference between there may be no matchup in Standard where, and possibly including green-white decks, where the difference between Night Veil Spectre and Lifebane Zombie is as distinct as it is against red aggressive decks or burn.
There's the Phoenix. Repp will untap. He'll draw a card. For Adam Garcia, I believe this is going to be his last turn of the game. As here is an attack for 2 and 2. Of course, strike to finish you off, and that is going to do it. Peter Repp is going to win this match over Adam Garcia, as his friends do clap in the background, because he is headed to the elimination rounds tomorrow morning.